We're really privileged today to talk to Larry Cockerham. He is one of the original folks who helped establish homeschooling and North Carolinians for home education. And so we just want to learn a little more about the early days. So, Larry, why don't you just tell me, how did you start thinking about homeschooling at all, or deciding to homeschool in your home?
We moved from Tennessee to North Carolina. I took a position as a professor at Campbell University in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, and we moved there in 1981. And my our two children were enrolled in Bowie's Creek Elementary School, and they were in, I believe, kindergarten, first grade, or and they so they started school there
Mm-hmm.
in Bowie's Creek Elementary. But we began to notice some problems. The problems that we saw were the teaching of witchcraft, and
Oh my.
we found that there were library books available 1 foot off the floor in the library for kindergarten kids teaching about
Mm.
witchcraft. And
Oh my
we
goodness.
approached the librarian about it, and they were not amenable at all to any comments from the community about the contents of their library. And we
Hmm.
all know the American Library Association still holds firmly that every literature, every piece of literature should be available to everyone, regardless of their age and regardless of the content of the material.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't do any good there. We also had another problem, and that was that the school mascot for the school was demons, and they would have pep rallies. All the kids would be brought into the gym, and they would be taught to say, "We love you, demons. We love you, demons."
Oh.
And we didn't like that. We went to the principal, and the principal said, "Well, it wasn't her decision, and
Mm.
she didn't have any control over that. And if we wanted to, we could opt our children out of pep rallies." So we did that, and they sat in the principal's office and felt punished
Mm.
for not going. To go to the principal's office was and be sitting in the
Sure.
principal's office for little kids. It wasn't good. So
Right.
by the end of that school year, we knew we had to do something, and so we looked into trying to find private schools that we could do in our area, and it just wasn't. It wasn't really possible for us. So I think it was that summer that I heard a uh, Focus on the Family interview with James Dobson and Raymond.
Mm.
So I went home and told my wife about it, and she said, "Wow, that's crazy. I don't think we could do that." And so I said, "Well, let's look into it," and we did, and uh, began to feel convicted that that was the place that we should go for schooling our kids. My wife also is an educator with a certified teacher and graduate school and all of that. I have a PhD myself,
Mm-hmm.
and so we thought, well, there won't be any problem with our education. Um, Having a certified
Mm-hmm.
teacher and all our educational credentials. But so anyway, we started. We named our school. We began to get calls from the principal of Bowes Creek Elementary, and um, then we got visits from the visit to our home, where the principal knocked on our door and told us what we were doing was
Mm.
illegal. So I called the county school superintendent and asked him, "Would you allow me to bring my children?" I'm so sorry, but I feel the emotion.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He said, "No way." I said, "I'd like to show you their California
Mm.
Achievement Test scores and I'd like to show you the curriculum we're using."
Mm.
He said, "No, I'm not interested. What you're doing is illegal." And
Mm.
uh, so then the truant officer came and threatened us.
Hmm.
Sorry, it was a difficult time, uh,
I bet.
especially for my wife and children. Uh, as I said, we lived right next door to the elementary school.
Oh,
So we
okay.
felt that we had to keep our children inside during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then I got word from one of the law professors at Campbell University that he had heard word that there was a threat against us.
At this point in the interview, Larry explains that they heard another set of homeschooling parents had been arrested. The police had showed up at their house at 10 o'clock in the night, woken up the whole family, and arrested the parents right in front of the children. The children were then put into state custody. The law professor at the school where Larry was said that they would probably be taking some kind of legal action against the Cockerhams as well. So Larry's wife and children went into hiding. So you were told that by someone at the school, and you kept doing it, huh?
Yeah, we did. Crazy, probably, but we kept doing it. My wife is really the hero in the story, and
Where did they hide? And just in the house there, or
well, they did at first, but then we have other relatives in North Carolina. They went
okay?
to visit other relatives, and they were gone, especially during the daytime when we thought they might do something.
Hmm.
Uh, they were back and forth, but so anyway, I called. We had a friend who was a deputy sheriff, and I called her and I said, "I've heard that there could be some criminal action coming against my wife and me. I'd like to know if you might be able to, if you see anything like that, if you might be able to inform me
Hmm.
so that I could turn myself in,
Hmm.
so that I wouldn't be arrested for my
Right.
children."
Right.
He said, "I will. If I see anything, I'll inform you." It was only a few days later that she called and said, "I have a criminal summons for you and your wife." I said, "Well, may I come and turn myself in?" She said, "Yes, actually, you will not be arrested, but you will be given a criminal summons that you'll have to appear in court." She said, "You're being charged with child abuse." But I want to tell you that I'm sorry I can never tell this story. You know, I don't want to present myself in any heroic way. I was scared. I was praying. So, but when I went to the sheriff's office, there was an incredible peace from God that
Hmm.
came over me. And I left her office and took this, went back by my office at the university. I did a few things. I didn't know, if I'd be back on Monday.
Hmm.
This was on Friday. So then I went home and I called the school superintendent. I had talked with him a few times before and begged him to allow me to present to my children curriculum and test scores and so anyway, I called him and his name was Mr. Gray. I said, "Mr. Gray, you know, I've just gotten this criminal summons and feel that it's a mistake. And I want to know if you would withdraw this action." He said, "Well, yeah, I know it. I know it's a mistake now, but it's your fault." And I said, "Well, would you withdraw the charges that you're bringing against my wife and me?" And he said, "Yes, I'll withdraw the charges."
Mm.
And so it was confusing. So immediately I called the deputy sheriff. And she said, "You won't believe what happened." She said, "Just the moment you left my office, Mr. Gray called and said, 'Has Dr. Cockerham picked up that criminal summons yet?'" And she said, "Yes, he just picked it up." And he said, "Oh no, this is horrible." He said, "The governor's office called and said, leave Cochrane."
Mm.
I don't know who that was. I didn't know anyone in the governor's office. Uh, an angel impersonator. I don't know who called him from the governor's office, but
Wow.
they did, and it was an answer to our prayers. God had answered our prayers, and the action they stopped the action against us.